Within the art world, there are several rather strict rules and codes to follow. It has been very confusing for me to know whether to stay within the codes or to follow my own desires.
Have the masters followed that code? Those dead masters? Those paintings that are in the museums that are now the most revered of all? Have you given any thought to how well those masters followed the code?
I don't know whether they followed the code. I know that the church controlled a lot of the code then. So.
Well, we will tell you.
Okay.
The further they were from the code, the greater the master they are today seem to be.
Thank you. That's what I've always felt in my heart.
But think about why. In other words, it is only in your acknowledgement of your freedom that you connect completely with who you really are. Yes. And it's only in that connection with who you really are that you paint your masterpiece.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're just mimicking what somebody else thinks you should do. And what do they know?
Yeah, I feel like I've just become an open channel to let it come forth.
Often we speak with artists of music or of painting or literature. And very often we notice that they have this sense that they need to find out what the world is looking for. And then they try to contour their offering to match that, thinking that there will be a greater market if they please more people. But there is an enormous sacrifice of connection to source when they do that, a diminishment of who they are almost on a day-to-day basis. And so what we encourage you to do is not worry about anybody else's codes. Just be aware of this vibrational proximity between your vibrational point of relativity, that is what you want and what you've added to and who you really are, and where you are right now. Tend to that, and in that alignment, everything else will fall into place. And let law of attraction bring the audience that is perfect to you to you.
Thank
Yes.
you. I have a couple questions. When a person passes, do they stay on the other side in the energy flow and hang out for a while, or do they reemerge into another body immediately?
Well, your question comes from a little bit of flaw in that the assumption is that you're either dead or alive, physical or non-physical, when what is really happening is you are always non-physical energy. And sometimes you express that non-physical energy into a particular physical apparatus. It would be a little bit like saying, as you look at your toaster and you know that the electricity will come through the wall, so you plug your toaster in and now the toaster makes toast. It would be like saying to the electricity in the wall, I want you to come forth and be the toaster. And the electricity in the wall says, I am the source of the energy, and I will work in conjunction with the toaster for a meaningful co-creation. You get the sense of it?
Yes.
And so you are always non-physical energy. And when you withdraw your focus from a physical body, that focus reemerges back into non-physical, and you just don a fuller view. But you do not for a moment lose sense of who you are. In other words, you're just clearer and wiser. It's like when you reemerge into non-physical. You know who you are, but you are who you are from that broader perspective. No sense of loss of continuity at all.
So that would explain how there are several people that can sort of look alike, or when you meet someone, you know that you've known them. It's like a greater part of yourself.
Oh, you come forth in clusters. You come forth in what Seth has referred to as families of consciousness. But it is just vibrational equivalent. From the non-physical point of view, everyone on your planet is soulmate of sorts, because you all come forth from the non-physical energy stream. But there are different intentions from non-physical, which is what makes the mix of the balance of your planet so divine. And as you play off of one another to stimulate each other to newer and greater, more expansive ideas, it is the perfect fit for everyone, you see. And so every now and again you will meet someone and there will be a familiarity, and almost without exception, when you meet someone and you feel that way, it is someone with whom you've spent many physical life experiences. But we want to say to you, often that one who irritates you the very most of all is one of those too.
Yes. Someone to learn from.
because you said, let's go forth and mix it up. Let's give each other things to think about. Let's give each other opportunities to remember that we are not practicing conditional love. Let's not just lay down and be what everybody wants us to be. Let's be who we really are, and let's allow whoever is interacting with us to have to connect to their source energy and practice a little bit of the art of allowing, because if they don't learn the art of allowing, they will not be in conscious creative control of their life experience at all. In other words, it doesn't matter whether they call it law of attraction or art of allowing, but it is important that they follow their heart. It is important that they march to the beat of their own drum. Because if you are allowing anyone else to be the one who guides you, then they cannot possibly factor in those 2 points of relativity that are everything, you see. In the non-physical, it's not a clump of energy assigned to a clump of flesh. You think that you are that. You're clumps sitting in your seats. But you are not. It is a stream of non-physical energy. And this stream of non-physical energy is flowing. And it flows toward beasts, and it flows toward frogs, and it flows toward birds, and it flows toward flowers, and it flows towards humans. And when you get in sync with who you are in sync with that stream. It is usually only the human consciousness that is wanting to assign a definition of that clump, because you are wanting ownership in order to make your claim about appropriate place. But once you get in sync with the stream and you begin to feel the flow of that source energy pulsing through you, you become less possessive of it and less wanting to dictate and name it, and more just allowing it to be the life force that flows through you.
Do we always stay as humans, or do we switch around and become animal and human? And
well, the energy stream that is you is really some of all of that. But in the strictest sense of the word, you are not only human, you are leading edge creator. Remember what we were talking about yesterday, that once you, as this teacher, get out here on this leading edge, you want to be there. And here's the distinction that we can give you that will really make sense to you. The beasts of your planet do, for the most part, a much better job of allowing their connection to source. That's why they have what you call instinct. We would call it instinct if you like the word, but we would call it in the moment guidance. In other words, that point of vibrational relativity that was them when they were born, and that has been somewhat added to as they have been in this physical body, is so much in closer proximity to where they stand in terms of their thoughts. You rarely meet a beast who is harboring ill will towards someone. In other words, they're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. And so the beasts are more allowing in nature, while the humans, who have the potential to consciously be allowers by utilizing their guidance system and working to bring themselves steadily and consistently into vibrational compliance, because you are factoring more things in and because you are considering more things, you are exploring the contrast in a more emphatic way. And because of the human leading edge on planet Earth, time-space reality, emphatic contouring and sifting through the contrast, you are contributing to the leading edge of thought in a powerful way. But now think about those beasts that were upon your planet before you got here. Were not they the leading edge?
Yes.
And so we don't want to say that they were the leading edge and that you have evolved past them. We want to say that you were them when you were that leading edge. In other words, you were having that experience. You were getting this planet ready, this planet that is continually evolving. You were sniffing out the air. You were feeling the atmosphere. You were learning how to survive in this environment, you see. And so as you were here and as you were expanding, as you were experiencing, then that which is God expands further and further and further, and here you are. But do not assume ever that you will be the final, always, as you are, leading edge being on this planet. The evolution of that which you are will continue to expand, and that which is the non-physical essence of you will continue to expand right along with it. So our answer is, you would not, from who you are, be satisfied to be only the cat that is sitting and purring all day. Although some of you, when you are stressed out, would like to trade lives with your cats every now and again.
Yes.
But we want you to understand that it isn't either or. There's enough non-physical life stream to go around. And from the non-physical point of view, you get to experience it all. Think about what it is like to be non-physical energy in this place of leading edge expansion, getting to experience the flight of the bird, or the swim of the dolphin, or the idea of the mother, or the idea of the painter, or the idea of the leading edge engineer. Think what it is like for non-physical in this free-flowing knowledge of knowing that all is well, and knowing that there is no end to the possibilities of creation, and being in an environment as we are in non-physical where there is no resistance that would be even close to discernible from a human standpoint. Imagine what it is like to be flowing through you. That's who you are. That's why you came forth. And what this gathering is about is to help you use your guidance so that you can get into vibrational alignment so you can have that experience too, you see. So when you get tuned in, tapped in, turned on, from your human perspective, now you have the vantage point of all that Source has, which means you get to know anything that is important to you. You can have the expanded experience and awareness of anything that you choose. If your environment is giving you the inclination to want it, your environment can give you the fulfillment of it. But you've got to be a vibrational match to what it is you want for that to happen.
How do you explain that there are more beings coming to the planet and we seem to be growing in population?
Oh, you've not come anywhere near your capacity for population on your planet. You've had greater populations on your planet at other times.
Ah, okay. Thank you very much.
So what is your question about that?
I was just, if we keep recirculating, I was wondering why we are increasing at such a fast rate.
The balance of population with human and animal is something that is tended to from broader perspective. The impulse is offered, and it really doesn't matter what laws you put into place. The impulse that comes forth from within is the impulse that keeps that always in balance. Haven't you noticed that an area will be overpopulated, and even without man's interference, in time it will right itself? We're not talking necessarily about the human population, but that too, but we're talking about the population of the beasts. In other words, that is something that is so understood and tended to from broader non-physical perspective. Yes.